15 years of sweat, sacrifice, and loyalty. And my reward? Watching my father hand the keys to my company truck to my younger brother as an engagement gift. That was the moment I realized the truth. No matter how much I gave, I would never be valued. "The new company truck is yours," my dad said with a wide grin, dangling the keys in front of my younger brother Ethan. A little engagement gift. I forced a smile, but inside something cracked. That truck had been promised to me for months. I needed it for my daily service calls, the late-night emergencies, the work that kept the company alive. Watching my father hand it over so casually confirmed what I had suspected all along. No matter how much I gave, I would never truly matter in his business. My name is Daniel. I'm 35 years old, and for 15 years, I was the backbone of Reynolds Family Plumbing. While my friends left for college and built new lives, I stayed behind to help my dad. I learned everything. How to snake drains at midnight, repair burst pipes in freezing winters, and install complex systems that others refuse to touch. Slowly, my father, Martin, stepped back into the office while I became the face of the company. What began as one rusty van in our garage grew into 8 trucks and 12 employees. That wasn't luck. It was years of my sweat, my weekends, and my reputation in the community. Then Ethan came on board. My younger brother was supposed to lighten the load, but instead, he became more work for me. He skipped jobs, showed up late, and left clients frustrated. I always had to clean up after him. Still, Dad excused everything. "He's still learning," he'd say, or, "Not everyone's as naturally gifted as you, Daniel." But favoritism went deeper than excuses. When I designed a scheduling system that made everything more efficient, Ethan got the credit. When I suggested branching into commercial work, Dad dismissed it, only to praise Ethan months later when he repeated the same idea. The financial side hurt most. For years, Dad promised me partnership. It never came. Instead, I found out Ethan was making over $100,000 more than me. I drove an old 2010 truck with nearly 200,000 miles while they rode in newer, polished vehicles. I told myself family loyalty mattered more than fairness. That one day Dad would see my worth. But the truth was he never did. My truck finally broke down during an important job. After weeks of research, I found the perfect replacement. I thought this was finally my chance. But then came that dinner. After dessert, Dad pulled out the keys and handed them to Ethan with a proud smile. I tried to protest. "Dad, I'm the one doing service calls every day. Ethan doesn't even take emergencies." He waved me off. "You'll manage with the old one. You've always been good at repairs. Ethan needs to look professional now." Ethan smirked like he had won a competition I never even signed up for. Driving home in my rattling truck that night, reality hit me like a brick. I had wasted 15 years waiting for respect that was never coming. That night, I called Mark, a former colleague who now worked at Harbor Plumbing. Without hesitation, he said, "Daniel, with your skills, you could write your own ticket anywhere. Why are you still tied to your dad's company?" It was the first time I admitted the truth. I wasn't loyal. I was stuck. Within a week, Harbor offered me a leadership role in their commercial division, the very opportunity I'd been denied for years. I prepared my resignation carefully, leaving behind detailed notes and client records so no one could accuse me of sabotage. When Dad read it, he scoffed. "You'll be back. This is just about the truck." He didn't even ask what Harbor was offering. But Ethan wasn't so sure. He pulled me aside, panicked. "You can't leave. I don't know half the systems. I'm not ready." His fear only confirmed what I already knew. I had been carrying the business alone. Walking away felt like breathing clean air for the first time. At Harbor, my ideas were respected from day one. My boss, Kevin, introduced me as the best plumber in the county. When I pitched a new maintenance system, he backed me completely. For the first time in years, I wasn't invisible. Soon after, Harbor bid for a major contract at Lakeside Corporate Park, a client I had worked with at Reynolds. I could have used inside knowledge to seal the deal, but I refused. Instead, I built a proposal from my own experience. Harbor won anyway. Kevin told me, "Your integrity is exactly why I hired you." That meant more than all of Dad's broken promises combined. Meanwhile, Reynolds Plumbing fell apart. Clients left when they realized I was gone. The systems I had built collapsed. Ratings plummeted, contracts vanished, employees quit. The breaking point came when Ethan botched a hospital job, flooding part of the building and costing them their biggest account. I later heard Ethan had a breakdown, admitting he never really learned the work because he always assumed I'd be there to save him. The calls and messages from my family shifted from angry to desperate. "We need to talk. Please come back." Even Ethan's fiancée reached out, worried he was falling apart. But I stayed focused on my new life. For the first time in years, I had weekends off. I reconnected with friends, started dating, and bought a brand new truck, paid for with my fair salary. 3 months later, Dad called. His voice sounded older, defeated. "Daniel, we need your help. The business is failing." We met at a coffee shop. I barely recognized them. Dad looked thinner, worn down. Ethan looked exhausted, with dark circles under his eyes. They admitted revenue had dropped by more than half. Most employees were gone, and even Ethan's engagement present truck had been sold. Dad slid a partnership agreement across the table. Nearly half the company, full operational control. His voice cracked. "I took you for granted. Please, help us save what's left." Naomi would have jumped at the chance. But I had learned something vital. Recognition that only comes after collapse isn't respect. It's desperation. Calmly, I told him, "I'm not coming back. I don't want revenge, but I found a place that valued me from day one. I won't go back to begging for respect." For the first time, Ethan spoke. His voice was quiet. "I didn't realize how much you did. I thought Dad was giving you the important work because he favored you. I was wrong. He looked less like the golden boy and more like the younger brother I grew up with. I didn't leave them empty-handed. I gave them contacts, advice on restructuring, tips for surviving as a smaller company. But I made it clear I wasn't their safety net anymore." 6 months later, Reynolds Family Plumbing still exists, but barely. They're down to 3 trucks, handling small residential jobs. Dad talks about retirement, and Ethan is finally learning to do the work himself. Family gatherings are awkward but civil. My mom stopped asking me to return when she saw the house I bought and heard about my promotion. As for me, I wake up every day without that knot in my stomach. I'm no longer chasing approval that never came. Kevin recently asked me to run Harbor's second location with the option to buy in later. I've even started sketching logos, imagining a fleet of trucks in my own colors. Not Reynolds Blue, but something new. Not out of bitterness, but because for the first time, I'm building something that is truly mine. And I've realized the greatest revenge isn't watching others fail. It's thriving so completely that your absence becomes undeniable proof of your worth. If this story struck a chord with you, remember this. Never waste your life waiting for recognition from those who refuse to see your value. Build your own path. Create your own future. And if you want more stories like this, real, raw, and unforgettable, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share.